Welcome back to the channel. It's myself, CultureCams, of course, joined with Lyés, and we are here, of course, the eye test, weekly. We are all... No, I don't like that.
What the fuck is you on? Say welcome to the eye test. It's CultureCams and Lyes, bro. I might even just leave this in.
That's too funny. Welcome back to the eye test. It's myself, CultureCams, joined with Lyés. And we are here to talk ball. Of course, guys, make sure you first like, share, subscribe, turn notifications on.
Oh my god.
And also...
It's the last time you also...
And also, thank you, BR, for powering this show. Make sure you guys go and check out stuff on BR Football. We're going to be all over there. And we got some big interviews coming up as well. That's why this episode is going to be shorter. We are in a rush. Yeah. We got to get our train. But you guys will see, I'm sure, when we drop them exclusive pictures, you guys will see what we're talking about. But as you can see in the title, this is all about Mohamed Salah today. And listen, there's been a lot of discourse about Salah's form and stuff, but it's not so much about his form and that we're going to be talking about. We're kind of focusing on actually what's off the pitch, the backroom talk, the stuff with the board, his contract situation, of course, and some stuff that it reminds us of. But let's start there, man. Mo Salah, okay, let's start with his form, actually. Not too much, but what do you think about Mo Salah this season?
And I was telling you off camera, right? I feel like it's just a typical Mohamed Salah start to the season. I don't know what the statistic is per se, but I know for sure. I think he has the most opening day goals in Premier League history. And just in general, I feel like not many players that I can remember start the season as consistently hot and on fire as Salah does. And this year is kind of no different. Doesn't matter what role he's playing in, what manager he's playing under, what the front three looks like, what the midfield behind him looks like. With Salah, you kind of just know what you're going to get every year. Output at a ridiculous rate. And this year is no different. But yeah, like you said, I think the bigger conversation is really the interview that he came out with after. And people were even saying it's actually pretty bizarre because normally Salah, when he's about to walk out, they ask him for interviews and stuff like that. He's like, yeah, go straight to the team bus. But this one, it almost felt, as the journalist said, like he came to them wanting to speak his mind. And what he said was pretty alarming for me in terms of, he basically just said, I'm kind of in the dark here. I'd love to stay, but it's not really in my hands. I love the fans. I love the club. I want to stay. But at the moment, there is no offer on the table. And I think that's pretty alarming, man. Not that there's no, I just think the fact that he's kind of in the dark about this at this point in the season and this kind of point in his contract for a player of his status at the club and just in world football, for me, it's pretty alarming that Liverpool have kind of left this, I want to say a little late, a little under the radar. It's kind of weird to me.
You know what? I saw what kind of I echo what you're saying in terms of how he's playing this season, in terms of everything around him. But I think I saw what Carragher said, and I can't lie, I thought he got a bit harsh criticism, Carragher. Yeah. I don't know if, did you see? I know you
you think Carragher got a little bit harsh?
Yeah, I thought both ways. I understand headline-wise, it looks bad on what Carragher said.
When
but I think
I'm disappointed in Salah, yeah.
But listen, I'm always for players speaking because if this was the NBA,
there's no controversy.
Players will say, I'm here to get paid. Whatever happens at the end of the season, I want to get paid. Does that even make the news? I don't even think it does. So I'm happy Salah came out and spoke. Yeah, speak your truth. Do you get where I'm coming from? But I get it from Jamie Carragher's point of view because Carragher is a Scouse Liverpool fan now. Anyway, Liverpool legend, whatever. So he's thinking of it emotionally. He's thinking coming from the emotional. Whereas obviously some fans who are kind of more, maybe not as, you're not a legend of the club. You're a bit more detached from the club because you know what I mean? You're not ingrained in it. So we kind of think a little bit more logically. And the reason why I'm saying this is because as soon as he said it, when Salah said that, I laughed and I was like, Salah, you've played a blinder here. So I know that's what Carragher's thinking. So Carragher's thinking of it in a way as in you're trying to get the fans against the club and that's not good.
But whereas that's not Salah's intention, and that's not the way I interpreted it
Even if Salah's trying to do that, mate, this is business.
It's true.
This is business. Because when he did that, I was like,
boss move.
I know what you're doing. The fans are now going to say FSG rise, Michael Edwards rise. Yeah. And I think that's it. Look, he said, I love the fans. The fans love me, but it's not up to either. It's not up to us. So it's now it's us versus them. You get what I mean?
All right, Salah's a master of communication.
Bro, he did what Carragher said, but why? I'm not disappointed in him. No, I'm not disappointed in it because yes, it's business. Go and get what you want. I've seen players do worse to leave football clubs. This is the first time Mo Salah is really coming out and speaking about it. So for me, I'm not annoyed or I'm not disappointed in Salah in doing that. I think it was smart from him because at the end of the day, one thing football clubs try and do, and we're seeing this little small smear campaign that they're doing with Klopp. Look at the little things that keep coming out about Klopp. It's like, I don't know if some Liverpool back room or whatever board are just feeding out little things. Klopp wanted
you think it's coming from the club or coming from people in the club?
100%. We know Michael Edwards and Klopp didn't have the greatest relationship, and there's rumors that's why Klopp didn't stay up. I don't know. I'm not going to get into all of that inside talk. But one thing a football club can do is tarnish a name. Yeah, Mo Salah goes and agrees a pre-contract this January with a Saudi club. Do you know the smear campaign that Liverpool are going to start running, acting like, oh, he wanted to get paid.
We could,
we tried to do everything. He just didn't want to. So Salah's saying, yeah, before you guys try any of that, here you go. And that's I don't mind that, to be honest. I don't mind that. So I like the angle that Salah came from. And I think it's a fair one because, as I said, clubs can really manipulate. We see it in all sports as well. They know how to kind of make it out like it was that person wanted to leave. It's their fault. So
at the end of the day, all these people have their own self-interest at hand. It's true. They all are looking out for themselves. And I think that kind of leads us into the next thing, right? Let's talk about the whole contract situation. Are Liverpool right to have reservations about Salah? Should Salah be willing to kind of like meet them halfway? Where do you kind of stand on all I have my opinion on this like massively, but where do you stand on this in terms of the whole Salah and Liverpool contract situation?
I do think it's a tough decision. I understand both sides, I'll be honest.
Yeah.
I do think clarity should have been had. So whether I agree, whether I'm with both sides, the clarity should have been done before. But I think now, when I'm looking at it, I understand because you never know when that decline is going to come. And Salah is showing that he's not really good at it. He looks like he can still go for another 2-3 years, but you just never know when it's going to come. We've seen guys get big contracts and drop off, you know what I mean, before, or maybe the motivation factor just starts to settle.
Sure.
But I'm looking at it at the same time as, what's the harm in giving Salah a 2-year mega contract? 2 years that, okay, if he didn't reach the heights that we know he can hit, all right, we took a little L 2 years, but then we move on. If now Salah, now we don't know what's going on in his contract talk. If Salah's sitting there saying, I want a 4-year, 5-year deal, now I understand
that's what I was going to say, right? I completely agree, right? Like, this is where I think Salah has to... I look at it from two ways. You're right. You have to look at it from FSG and from Salah. I hate when it comes to football fans, and I see this a lot in our fan base, when people almost tend to prioritize this make-believe project that has no 100% guarantee of actually working out. I see it all the time with United in terms of, yeah, this guy is 26 years old and banging goals, but I'd rather go for this 20-year-old who has a higher ceiling and
next 10
fits,
years.
Yeah, it fits the overall window that we're trying to reach. There's no guarantee that you invest in all these young players and you have this long-term project and that it actually works. And yes, if it does work, that's actually how Liverpool even like created this current group that has gone on to have so much success. Yes, they were sustainable and they got smart deals over the line and they went young. I get all of that.
They didn't go that young. No, Liverpool.
They went for a similar age group.
Chelsea are kind of doing that now.
Sure. My whole point is, and you look at Arsenal as well too, that idea has gotten them to this point so far. But I've also seen Man United for the last 10 years try and go for this project, this long-term project, and they've had to restart like 6 different times. So there's never a guarantee in football. And when I look at Liverpool in particular, right, they're in a position right now where, in my opinion, they're favorites to win the league. They could 1,000% win the league this year, barring a major slip-up, which I think is what it would take, to be honest with you. And then I look going forward as well, too. The current group that they have, this window of players at their current age, and even like looking into the next 2 years, have a major opportunity to continue collecting silverware. Mohamed Salah is, if not a big part of it, arguably the biggest part of that, of that, at least at this current moment. Why not take the risk? And even if you do give him a 4-year contract, hold on, hear me out. You give him a 4-year contract, but, and this is where you're kind of playing risks, because how long does Salah have? Let's say he even gives you 2 more years. Those 2 years, Liverpool are challenging for the league.
Yeah.
Maybe the other 2 years, he starts to fall off. But those 2 years that you were guaranteed to have with him, you're still challenging, and you might even go and win trophies. Isn't that worth the 2 years that you kind of mess up? Whereas you don't give him that contract, you don't get any years from him, and then you have to hope that somebody else can come in and keep you at that level.
Yeah.
I look at that and say, I'd rather have the first.
Yeah, and I the thing is, I think a major thing here though is FSG just have to pull their fingers out, bro. Because even if you're scared of, imagine Mo Salah's decline, sign Mo Salah on and sign players around him. Yeah. Make the team good enough.
That's what a serious football club would do.
Yes,
That's
exactly.
I don't want to say Liverpool's not serious, but that's what a serious ownership would do.
Sign him down, and for once, pull your fingers out and sign some players. So when Mo Salah's decline does come, it's thank you, mate. You go on the bench. We'll try and find you a Saudi club or something, but we've got this guy. Yeah. That's what they should be doing. Not, if we give Salah, he's going to handicap the club and he's going to break our wage structure. Oh my God, arguably the greatest player of your modern history broke your wage structure.
Yeah, you have to make exceptions.
Flipping out. Why do you act tonight they're about to break their wage structure for fucking Gravenberch? They're not though, are they? Like, with all due respect to Gravenberch, you're about to give it to arguably your GOAT of the Premier League era. So of course, if I'm walking into the football club, I don't care who you are. If I'm Rafael Leao, I'm walking into the football club and I see Salah's the highest paid. You think I'm going to be like, throw me parity? Now, if I see McAllister's the highest paid,
that's where you get problems. But there's some players,
but some players that are going to be. Nobody's walking into Man City and saying, "Yo, what's KDB on?" All right, let me get on. No one is doing that. So that's where I just think tie him down, and the board. Pull your finger out. You have an opportunity here, not only because you might win this league, and let's say they do win the league. You have opportunity here that the guys that have been terrorizing your club for 6 years, Man City, blood is leaking now. You can smell blood on them. Somebody's got to capitalize. This could be a moment where Liverpool can go back to back.
And that was 1920 when they won the league, and the failure to do so the following season and the seasons that kind of followed. I'm sure haunts Liverpool fans.
Exactly.
The only way the Salah extension, in my opinion, fails in the scenario that I'm talking about is next season he's absolutely washed. And if you really believe that, then maybe don't do it. But does anybody really think, and I know no one can ever be 100% sure, but does anybody really think next season Salah is going to go from this form that he's in to absolutely unusable? Yeah. I don't think it'll ever be that sudden with a player like Salah, who, by the way, right?
You have to take he's taking off his top. 1,000%. Pause, but
that man's not looking at someone else. You have to take it by a case-by-case basis, because people will talk about Aubameyang, people will talk about Ozil and stuff like that.
But at way higher level than they were anyway.
Forget about even that. You also have to look at Salah, his durability in terms of how often he's been injured, the shape that he currently keeps in, how his game is aging. In my opinion, I think he's not as explosive as he used to be, but he's managing to kind of make up for it. So if any player has kind of shown you that if we're going to take the risk and trust a guy to maintain a good level for the next 1, 2, 3 seasons, I think Salah has done everything humanly possible to convince you to do that.
And the worst thing is, even if Salah gets a bit more washed, I still think, even if he gets more washed, a washed Salah can move up front and score you like 10 league goals. Even at wash stage. Like, even if you just little striker, or you wanted some fast dynamic winger or something, all right, cool. Yeah. A wash Salah can still give you like 10 goals, bro, in the league, in my opinion. And bro, 10 goals might sound laughable, but
10 goals, bro.
Yes. That's what Chris Wood is giving a team every
year.
Darwin
Nunez gave Liverpool 10 goals in the Premier League every year.
I think a wash Salah can give you that. So when I'm looking at it, I'm like, all right, cool. You've got to kind of, as a business, I get it. As a business, you got to really analyze every situation. You know what I mean? Which we don't really have to, but they do.
The fans, that's
have
the
to.
Biggest,
economically, potential in terms of his burnout or whatever.
But I hear all that, but let me say this, right? All of that matters, but none of it should ever prioritize winning in the current moment. That should always, and I think every fan would want to hear that from their ownership. Yeah. Our biggest priority, more so than sustainability, more so than revenue, more so than shirt sales, is winning now. And if a guy gives you the best opportunity to win now and next year, I think you got to sign him, bro.
Somebody said a good example, right? Somebody on my comments, because I did an episode about this yesterday, just talking about this on my channel, and somebody was like, I wonder if the pressure that the FSG are receiving from the Boston Red Sox at the moment, the pressure that they're receiving is having a knock-on effect on Liverpool.
Celtics? Boston,
I don't know. Apparently, they're like going crazy about the investment into Boston Red Sox or
Oh,
something.
are they investing a lot?
They're not. So
Oh.
apparently now the Boston Red Sox are about to invest 500 million into some contract, some next thing. They're about to get some player 500 million, something crazy. So the guy was like, I wonder if that's having a knock-on effect on Liverpool. And I was like, interesting perspective.
Fair enough. I just think FSG, for as long as they've been at the club, have been a organization. They've been an ownership that sells to buy. That's what they've always been. And I think the fact that it's not even just Salah. Salah is the main one right now. But you got Trent going into the last year of his contract. I think Van Dijk still hasn't been resolved as well too.
I think Van
the
Dijk's
fact that
gonna
you're
sign.
fair enough. But the fact that you've left it this late for your three best players, for me, is unforgivable. Honestly, it's unforgivable. And if any of them are going to leave and actually affect the way your club goes, it's for me. We're going to bring it to NBA. We always do this on this podcast. It reminds me of OKC when they had Harden, Westbrook, and Durant, and they want to play it cheap or whatever and let Harden go. Sign your best guys. Get them together while they're at this level for as long as possible.
I mean, that is a good example because look at that. Never end up winning. You know what I mean? And even Harden came out the other day and said that if he had signed, he thinks they would have won 2 chips.
100%.
So.
Okay. See, maybe they saved on the luxury tax and they saved long term, maybe. But if OKC had a championship, you think anyone's gonna give a shit about the luxury tax that they had to pay over?
Still no rings, bro. Still no rings. So Golden State were playing luxury tax for 5 years.
Yeah. Do you think if Liverpool win
they were winning?
Yeah. Do you think if Liverpool win the league next season with Salah? Do you think anyone's gonna care if the next year after that he falls off?
Yeah,
and
no, that's
they're paying. Yeah, no one's gonna care, bro.
That's the thing. But do you think that there's a potential opportunity that the FSG are thinking about it like, well, if we get this title this year, we can kind of thanks for the memories, mate.
Imagine telling your fan base though they win the league this season and they say, okay, guys. The main guy that helped us get we're actually going to say goodbye to him because he's too expensive. Fans will revolt on the streets of Liverpool if that happens.
It's funny because I said this season, I think, is the most in terms of, Salah's had great seasons, better seasons.
Sure.
Like, I'm not saying this is his best season, but I think this is his, in terms of importance to when Liverpool are competing. Because I know he scored and stuff last year, but they weren't. I'm talking about this season, right? In terms of competing, I think this is the most important Salah has been to Liverpool.
That's 67% of their goals with their goal or assist.
You look at 17-18, he scored 44 goals, but we knew they were so leaky. They didn't compete for the title. Yeah. But then Van Dijk came in, they became a little bit more solid. They went Champions League final. So you can kind of attribute it. You can split it a little. They still have Firmino, he scored 20 goals that season. Mane. 18-19, that was a complete kind of. That's when they started becoming complete. Van Dijk was there, Alisson. Fabinho.
I think Mane was the best player that season. Yeah.
18-19, I can't remember. I think 19-20.
Best attacker for me. No, Mane for me in those 2 seasons, in my opinion, was Liverpool's most important attacker.
19-20, he was super clutch. I remember that for sure. So you can have your debates, but I think this season, in terms of now Liverpool are proper competing,
it's Salah.
I think this is the one where it's like this is your one. So it'll be a crazy time for it to happen. It will literally be like
21-22. I think Salah.
Did they compete for the title?
That's the year where they almost won the quad.
Yeah.
And Salah first half of the season.
Didn't he go up front that season?
Second half of the year, but first half of the year he was
No.
Yeah.
But Salah first half of the season, he's always going to do his thing. I'm not saying anything like that, but I'm just talking about if it continues. Yeah. If this continues through to next season. Yeah. No, do you know what it is? If Liverpool are going to win the league, it's going to require Salah being on this type of form. So that's why I think if this is like, for me, if they were to win it, this feels like the Mo Salah team. If you get where I'm coming from, it feels more like it. Yeah, Van Dijk and they're keeping clean sheets, but I think this year it's like his influence is way more than Van Dijk's. It's way more than anyone's. Obviously, Alisson's not playing. I think
67% of goal contributions come from him. Yeah. That's an insane stat.
That's an insane amount. So I think, you know what, right? So it's funny because I was talking about on my channel, right? I think this is very similar to we've seen contract situation. We've seen Rooney go at war with Man United. We see for different reasons. Rooney went at war with Man United because he wanted players to come in and ambition and blah, blah. Same thing with Van Persie and Arsenal, ambition. And so it's not even ambition one. This one reminds me the situation of Cristiano Ronaldo and Real Madrid. And you've got to remember, 17-18, Real Madrid just won the Champions League. And life was looking good. Yes, Ronaldo was in his kind of 3rd or 4th phase of his career where he's now just a striker, box kind of player, banging goals, being clutch, doing what he does. but they had just won the Champions League.
You're talking
You
about
know what I mean?
17, 18, right?
17, 18,
You know the
yeah.
thing with that season, though, if you remember correctly, I think that's the season where after December he had only scored 4 goals. Ronaldo, the first half of the season, that's when they were saying "Donde está CR7?"
Yeah.
People were actually thinking Ronaldo was basically washed at that point in his career, and then of course
He ended
what they
it
did in
strong.
the Champions League, he was
Yeah.
incredible. Yeah.
Yeah, so that year, but you look at it, right? That year, he went crazy in terms of, as you're saying, how he ended the season. So you're thinking, all right, we just win the Champions League. You're going to keep Cristiano. But behind the scenes, he was locked into a battle with Perez and that he wanted to get paid more. He wanted to get more money. Perez was thinking, your age, how you are, you're not peak Ronaldo. What should we do here? So now they were they were butting heads for a long, long time to the point where Real Madrid just said, you know what? We can let you go. And I see a lot of similarities in that Ronaldo 17, 18, going into 18, 19 mode of Real Madrid with this Mo Salah one. And I'm not saying that Salah's and Ronaldo, I'm not comparing them as players. I'm just comparing their situations with the owners and them. Both had great seasons or having great seasons. But now it's like, who wants to take the gamble on giving you that new contract? Let's not forget, Ronaldo went and scored over 100 goals for Juventus. It's not like he was washed. He went and still did his thing.
I think what's more
so it's
important
kind of like
I think what's more important in that situation isn't even what happened to Ronaldo. I think it's more so what happened to Real Madrid. So let's look at that situation. The season following, they immediately signed Vinicius Jr. 45 million on a relative unknown at that. He was good in Brazil, but a project, right?
Yeah.
The next season, they signed Rodrigo and Hazard for like, let's say 140 million combined. So already they've spent most of the Ronaldo money on so-called replacements. And long-term, Vinicius and Rodrigo ended up being worth the weight in the investment. And ultimately, you could say, maybe their decision to let Ronaldo go allowed this new generation that's led by Vinicius and Rodrigo. But on the flip side, Hazard was supposed to be the Ronaldo replacement.
Yeah.
He completely flopped. So I guess the whole thing here is that's proof that there's no guarantee in any of this working. There's no guarantee that Liverpool don't extend Salah. Their replacement is, I don't know, who's a great right winger in the world right now? Olise from Bayern. Maybe they go bring Olise for 80 million. There's no guarantee that Olise comes in. Liverpool maintain the level. They
100%.
go continue winning titles. But because Olise is younger and has more value over the considerable future, that doesn't make it a better deal than giving Salah a new contract.
it just shows the level of difficulty these owners do have, though. You know what I mean? Because imagine the level, the decision to let Ronaldo go. Think about what he meant to Real Madrid. This is their greatest player.
Yeah. And Real Madrid,
Like,
by the way, the next
this is their
season after they
greatest
sold
player.
Ronaldo,
Yeah,
were awful.
Yeah,
they were
were
awful. The following season, they won the league. It was a weak La Liga.
yeah.
Messi, his Barca was basically a non-factor. It took them, 3-4 years to win the Champions League again after that point. 2021.
Yeah. So when you look at it, I do think there's a difficult decision to have there. But look, some can get it right. You can argue maybe Real Madrid did get it right. You know what I mean? I don't know. You know, would they have won it the next season? Who knows? Maybe Real Madrid, that was the right time to do it. So they can say, oh, well, we won a couple Champions Leagues now. We won leagues. We got it right. You just never know, though. Football is not the same. But I do see a lot of similarities between that. The best player wanting more money, wanting length of contract,
I think it's the
aging,
length. I
and
think
the
the length
owners
of
are looking
contract
at it
is the
like,
most important thing. I think the length of contract is the most important thing. And I think this is where, for me, as much as I basically vouched for Salah to be paid and get the respect in terms of the contract, he also, this is why I said he needs to also meet them somewhere as well, too. I'm sorry, bro. Like, what is he, 31 now? 30, 31?
I think he's 32 now.
Is he 32?
He might be 32 now. Let's have a look. Salah is 32. 33 in June.
33 in June.
Yeah.
He's got, okay, I don't know. So I don't know what Salah is demanding, right? I don't know if he's demanding 5 years, 3 years. He has to be realistic here. I think for me, what you said, 2 years on, let's say 350, 400 a week, because he's probably on like 250, 300. I think I could assume that. I think 2 years, 400, making him the most expensive, most paid player in the league, which reflects probably his status, but also respects his age and how he's probably going to age. I think that's the best for both parties. It allows Liverpool to still be competitive. It allows Salah to be paid how he probably values himself.
Yeah.
But it also gives Liverpool flexibility that Salah is not going to be 37 years old on 400,000 a week and they can't move him on. I think that meets everybody perfectly. I just don't know. Does Liverpool want to give him that? Is the Salah okay with 2 years, 400?
That's the thing. Sometimes it gets to that, innit? Like, I remember Chelsea, how often they wouldn't, once you get over 30,
Chelsea,
only 1 year.
You get 1 year. Right. John
1 year
Terry,
each.
yeah.
1 year each, 1 year each, 1 year each. So, but is that something that Liverpool have stamped down? How long is Van Dijk going to sign? That's the thing. So these are things that
Michael
bro,
Edwards is
agent-
1000% like that. Michael Edwards,
Yeah.
part of the reason, in fact, the difference between Klopp and Michael Edwards, massively for me, Klopp is loyal. He's
Yeah,
loyal
yeah.
to his guys to a fault. Some would even
Yeah.
argue it's what makes him such a great manager, but it's probably what hurt him towards the end in terms of he gave Henderson too much
Yeah.
leeway. He gave Wijnaldum or those guys
Mm-hmm.
too much. Michael Edwards, it's been well known, well documented that he's got a very clear philosophy on older players.
Yep.
Look, we got to go for a similar window of player. Don't overpay guys that are over 30 years old. Don't lock them in for long term.
But that's what it comes down to, because you look at Van Dijk, he's 33.
Yeah.
So Van Dijk is 33. How long are they going to give him? So these are things that are Liverpool, his agent will be looking at, bro. This is stuff Salah's agent will be looking at. If you give Van Dijk 2, they think we're a year younger than Van Dijk.
Yeah.
We've got more value. We are Mo Salah, but no, we want. These are things that happen, and this is where the club messed up by having Trent.
Yeah.
Because Trent might be looking at it like, I'm 25.
Yeah. I got Real Madrid, by the way, on my.
I'm the Scouse boy. I'm gonna be the future captain.
Yeah.
Maybe I need to be the highest earner. Let me see what Salah's on.
But
let me see what Van Dijk's on.
Trent
bro, this is a
Trent
game,
is
bro.
in the worst situation himself, though, because of the Scouse angle.
Mm.
Because now, and look,
He
people are
can't
gonna
leave
say-
for free. If he
people-
leaves for free, they'll hate him forever.
No, and they're gonna use that against him,
Yeah,
bro.
yeah,
People are gonna say,
100%.
"Oh, don't speak on my." Here's the reality of the situation. It happens with Man United as well too. I'm convinced it happens with Rashford. They're going to basically speak to him, basically say, "Oh, we know you're not gonna leave for free.
Yeah,
Like we know
yeah.
deep down you won't leave for free." So
Yeah.
they're gonna basically do him a little dirty in terms of
Yeah,
negotiation
try, yeah.
because they know deep down they don't think Trent will leave on a free,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Trent is gonna have that guilt and like, if I leave, I'm a fucking villain.
That's the
Salah
thing.
leaves on a free. No one's going to like villainize
Nah.
Salah per se.
And he's flipped the script. That's what I'm saying. Maybe Trent might take a leaf out of this book and turn around and say
I'll
something.
be surprised if they keep all three. I think if
think Van
FSG
Dijk
keep
is
all
staying.
three, they are massively ambitious, and I rate 100%. But I have a feeling one of the three leaves. I think it's gonna be Trent.
You think Trent's for free?
Oof.
So he'll have to go in January.
Yeah, because Trent leaves. So
Yeah,
all
yeah,
three of them
yeah.
expire this
Yeah,
summer.
this summer.
Yo, FSG are mad, bro. What the hell?
Bro, let me check. Let me confirm
That's
that.
insane. Maybe it's not Trent then.
Van Dijk is staying, bro.
No,
I
Van
think
Dijk, I have no doubt.
Somebody said something.
Van Dijk
I
is there.
agree
Van
with
Dijk
it.
is there.
Somebody said something. I agree with it. That I think they're gonna try and do that anniversary of Van Dijk signing at the Christmas tree shit.
Yeah.
They might announce it
Van
like
Dijk,
next month.
I
Yeah.
agree with you. I think he's definitely going to stay. I think it's between Salah and Trent.
Let's see.
I think Trent's going to Madrid, man. I have a feeling Trent will go to Madrid. I think
that
they're going
is
to prioritize
so
Salah.
insane. Liverpool have 3 contracts expiring in 2025. Trent, Salah.
Who planned this shit, bro? Whose bright idea was that?
That is insane. Oh, Trent is 626 again. Damn, man, these men are getting
Yeah,
old.
they're getting
man.
old, bro. Damn.
Damn, yo.
So let me ask you this then.
Hold on. When Rashford cooked Trent that time,
Yeah,
he was only a year older than Trent.
yeah.
Kind of crazy how
Yeah.
Rashford kind of felt like he was around for
Well, yeah,
ages.
Trent.
And that was Trent's debut season.
Rashford.
17, 18 wasn't his state like proper like
Yeah, it's his breakout season.
And that was like Rashford like
It's
in
his
his
30.
groove.
No, it's his third year. Yeah.
Football's mad, you know.
Yeah,
They
that's
don't-
crazy. Let me ask you this then. I want you to predict the future here. I want you to predict the contract resolutions of Virgil van Dijk, Mohamed Salah, and Trent Alexander-Arnold. Do they stay? Do they extend? Or do they leave? 1 year on their deal, all of them.
It's not even 1 year anymore. It's a couple months.
6 months. 6 months left on their deal. Do they stay or do they leave?
I think Van Dijk stays. Yo, this is tough. You know, I think they're gonna stay.
All three of them are going to
I think
stay.
they're gonna stay.
FSG are
can't
opening their
see-
pockets.
Because for some reason I'm confident that Van Dijk is staying. I don't know what it is. I'm just confident that he's staying. I just can't see him leaving. I don't see where he will go.
I agree. I think Van Dijk stays.
I think Van Dijk's gonna stay as like a figurehead. Trent, it's impossible they lose that guy for free. It's like they can't.
So then-
forget about turning Trent into a villain. You cannot do that as a club. Liverpool can't do that. They cannot let Trent go for free. And then I just can't see it happening to Salah. I don't know, bro. I can't see it happening to Salah, bro.
So you think all
I'm
three
sitting
of
on
them
the
stay?
fence here. I think I'm being a bit of a fence sitter.
Yeah,
But
come
I'm
on.
gonna- I
You
think I'm
sitting
fin-
on the fence. When
Nah,
does that
I think-
happen?
I know it's crazy, but I think I'm fence sitting a little bit. But I think I just can't see it. This is the 3 most important players.
I know. No, logically, they should extend all three of them.
So who you got leaving?
Van Dijk, I agree. He only 1,000% stays. You know what I could see? I think Trent stays, and I think Salah leaves, man.
You think so?
I think they're gonna do Salah dirty, bro. I think they're gonna do Salah dirty.
Wow.
I think, you know what I think they're gonna do, man?
Wow.
I think they're gonna look at Salah and they're gonna play it financially secure. I don't agree with the decision, but I think they're gonna look at Salah. They're gonna say, how much money can we get for him at 32 this summer? And then let's give a war chest to Arne Slot to build a team in his image, which doesn't always guarantee to work. We saw it with Bale. We saw it with Suarez. Getting a lot of money and splashing it on a whole new team is not necessarily like a guaranteed result. I mean, to be fair, they sold Coutinho and they got Van Dijk and Alisson, so maybe they want to do that again. But I think they're going to do it with Salah, man. I think they're going to let Salah go.
I mean, you would think in this world, you'll probably look at it and think, the right back.
Because if I know how
letting the winger go, but keeping the right back and centre back.
No, but you know what? It's not about that.
Wild,
I think FSG and Michael Edwards are looking at it from a point of age profile.
Yeah.
Van Dijk it's gonna be a good contract for both parties. He's gonna make it easy for them.
Van Dijk,
Trent at 26 years old, I think they're gonna look at it more value in the market or more value at the position as well too. He's maybe more valuable for his position.
Van Dijk, it could be his last contract, and it's like he could retire at the club.
Van Dijk will retire at Liverpool.
Yeah, he could be saying like,
that's not even a question for me.
quickly.
But Trent, I think they look at the age. I think they look at the position as well too. Can they even find someone comparable to him? And then I think, like you said, the boyhood image, future captain, Scouser, been there from the start. I think they look at optically. If they were to lose Trent for free, the whole fan base would be incredibly upset at Trent, but they'd also look at the ownership as well too.
They got difficulties there because Trent's gonna make it hard for them.
No doubt.
He's got interest.
Of course.
Trent's gonna make it hard for them. This is his prime year contract, so he has to get as much as he can. This is gonna be his biggest payday. So Trent is going to make it hard for them because he's got interest. Van Dijk will make it, I think, easy. I think every team would still take Van Dijk, but you know, he might be coming on I'm going to retire at this club, blah, blah, blah. And then Salah, yeah, that's a tough one. But let us know in the comments, guys, what you guys think. Who do you think is going to stay at Liverpool? Who's leaving between Van Dijk, Salah, and Trent? And what do you think about the Mo Salah situation, man? What do you think about the contract talks? Who's in the right? Are you team FSG? Are you team Salah? Where do you stand on this discussion, man? It's been myself, CultureCams. Shout out to Lyés as well. Shout out to BR. Make sure you guys follow BR on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, all of that. All of our stuff's going to be there. And as I said, look out for our content. Follow more Lyés. Follow CultureCams. We are out.
Peace.